trying to, oh my God. We're trying to get the phone worked out because this holder isn't working. But cool, I'm here and it's a live video. And it's time for you to ask me some questions. I've got my computer down here and I'm gonna try to watch what's happening over here while I'm talking to you over here. So I am the formulator of Brazen Bee Beauty. I also started the company about 8.5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. But I've been in herbs and nutrition for, well, since I was 19 and I'm 43 now. So it's been a little hot minute. And yeah, I am here to improve everybody's skin ills with a passion and with only completely natural ingredients. So I don't know if I'm going to see questions come up over there, but I'm trying to get this worked out since this is the first time that we have officially done this. There's going to be a few kinks, if you know what I mean. So let me just try to get this pulled up and see if I'm going to be able to kind of watch questions pop up on the computer. Oh, here we go. Okay. I feel like there's a lag time happening on here. Oh no, there's not. We're good. Okay. So I think I'm going to be able to see your questions pop up. I did receive a couple of other questions on the previous post that I did. And one of them was actually a request for transcripts of my videos for our deaf clientele. And that's something, shockingly, that I haven't even thought of. So that I would actually love to do, and I think that we'll have somebody sit down and make transcripts and post them as a comment later. And I would love to go back to some of my previous videos. I know that a lot of you guys are avid watchers of my videos because it's a great way for me to get a lot of information to you at one time, and yeah, and just sort of stream of consciousness out of my own head, which I know can be a little complicated sometimes. So I will make transcripts, and that's a beautiful idea. There's that. And then this person was asking about using Easy A and still having a hard time feeling like her face is moisturized. And I think that this is not an uncommon problem. For one, when you start with my moisturizers, which are water-free moisturizers, they're all very concentrated. Some people say that for the first week or so, the oil does tend to sit on the top of the skin before the skin totally takes it in. And I think that that has a lot to do with the skin acclimating to a true moisturizer, and not something that's full of glycerin and everything else. And just like I talk about you getting the glycerin sheath off of your hair, I think that glycerin ends up damaging our skin as far as uptake goes, and it makes it harder for the skin to take those oils in. So there's a little bit of a waiting period there before you feel like you're really moisturized with true oils and butters. If that continues to happen after a week of use, then we definitely need to look at some things and try to understand what's happening with your skin. But to go back to the question about Easy A feeling like it's not really staying on the skin, I feel like this is an issue where I would highly recommend, and when you're shopping at the store, you kind of get this spiel before you leave every time. It's the most important time that you're going to ever apply your moisturizer is when you go to bed at night. And I call it the, oh girl, I'm too shiny to go outside look. Most people should be putting on moisturizer at night in a way that's just a little bit shinier than you would feel comfortable going out in the world in. It's going to soak up while you sleep, totally. And it's also, your body is doing an immense amount of reparative work while you sleep. When you get to bed at night is when like the construction workers' cells are coming out and really moving things around and getting things to heal up a lot better. So that night feeding is the most important time that you're actually going to use your face wash and your moisturizer. So I would like to say, That's number one. If you feel like you're having problems with retaining moisture on your skin, it is also the most perfect fix for if you are making too much oil. If your skin is oily in the daytime, this nighttime feeding is going to show your skin that you're going to feed her every single night, and you're going to feed her so well that by the next day, there's no need to overproduce oil. And I have literally fixed every single client that has oily skin with this regimen, and it usually takes no more than 3 days. There's the 3-day marker of using that moisturizer at night and the skin finally calming down and not overproducing oil anymore. Soap is the opposite answer to your shiny skin. Do not take oil off of your skin because your skin is too shiny. Maybe that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Your skin is making oil because it wants to stretch. It doesn't want to have wrinkles. It doesn't want to be taut. And so that overproduction of oil is your skin's attempt at healing. And every time we take that off with something that suds or foams, you're just doing damage. And you're making her start all over again with the process. So, so that nighttime moisturizing is super important. I don't have any questions coming up right now. But this is our first one, so I can just talk to you forever. And then, the other question was about scars. I am so good with scars. When I first started doing research on healing scars and what I should put into a scar formula or what we should do, I saw that the doctors say that you only have 1 year to heal a scar. And I can tell you that is absolutely not true, because I have greatly improved. I can't tell you that you're not going to be able to see your scars anymore like magic, but I've been able to go back with people's scars that are many years old. Lisa Snordham is actually watching right now, and she is a burn client of mine who has burns on like 70% of her body, and she came to me definitely over a year after that had happened to her, and we have seen vast improvements. I mean, she's got the mesh scars and the spots where they took skin off of other places and put them here and put them there to regrow her skin. And it's hard to not get teary, but her life is very different now than it was when I first met her. And the moment she walked in, I was like, I'm treating you. Like, I don't care how much money you have. It burns on 70% of your body. This is what we're doing. Go home and do this. And when she first started out, she's a real rough and tumble gal, She moves tires for a living and stuff like that. So she was like, I don't want to do anything but one thing. So we did Easy A. And she uses that religiously. She also takes baths with it. And that being said, wet healing with older scars and newer scars is really important. That bath that she's doing with the Easy A in it, and then making sure that she moisturizes right after the bath while the skin is still wet, is a really big jump in getting the right nutrition into the skin. Water is like the electric lines between all of those skin cells. And if those skin cells can't talk to each other, they can't do anything for you. They've got to be able, so what happens in scar healing is that, of course, first, the skin miraculously sews itself back up together when you have a cut or whatever. So it pulls together. There are little things that come in and eat the bad guys and eat the dirt and get stuff out of there. And it's kind of the cleanup crew. And then after that, once the skin has sort of stitched itself back together, what happens is there's different types of collagen. There's collagen 1, collagen 2, and collagen 3. Collagen 3 is what we're going for. Like, that's the hoop we're trying to shoot for, is getting collagen 3 into the middle of that scar. So doing damp healing, even keeping a poultice over it for a little while, or a wet wash rag is totally fine. But providing some water with your lotion and keeping it on there for a little while helps those collagens move in and out, and collagen is being replaced in a scar at 0.3 microns per hour. That's how fast it's moving. So it takes quite a while. But that's also why your scars tend to itch, is because your skin's kind of asking you to move those different types of collagen through that area with a little help, please. So itchiness, as we know, is a really great part of healing, and that's why it's itchy. That's why your skin is asking you to touch it more, because it would like you to do some massage work and help that collagen move at maybe a little faster than 0.3 microns per hour. But the body's a beautiful thing, and getting scars to at least look better and get some new collagen in there is very important. I'm fine with collagen supplements. I think that's great. I don't think that I've seen enough science, we'll call it science, that I haven't seen enough studies on doing topical collagen is actually being very beneficial. Your body makes collagen. Taking collagen internally for scars, I think, is can be very beneficial, but I just don't feel like it's super helpful topically. There are a lot of other nutritive things that we can do. Comfrey is amazing. Comfrey has allantoin in it, which is actually kind of what they harvest out of stem cells to get people to regrow stuff, but it's in Comfrey. And the skin does absorb allantoin through the dermis and utilize it right there at the site. So Comfrey that's why we use it in so many of our face wash formulas. Probably in all of them. Yeah, Comfrey's really wonderful for that, and it's a great topical to just have on hand. If you have Comfrey powder at home, which you can buy from Mountain Rose Herbs, they powder it for you, and it makes a gel, actually. So if you put dry Comfrey over a spot that you're trying to heal and then spray it with water, it makes almost like its own little bandage on its own. So that's really cool. Yeah, Lisa says, what is Comfrey? It's plant, and typically you can use the leaves of it. I use the root, it's stronger, but the leaves are also amazing. And if you have Comfrey growing in your yard, which you should check, like Google what it looks like, because it actually grows all over the place wild, taking the whole leaves and even drying them and then wetting them and putting them over something later is super great, and it feels good. It just makes a really beautiful gel that feels nice on your skin. So yeah, does anybody have any other questions for me today? Yeah. So another thing that comes up in a lot of the classes that I do that I'll just go into for a moment is actually hyperpigmentation and age spots. I don't think that really until about this last year that I understood that it wasn't just me dealing with that issue. A few years ago, all of a sudden, I had a huge brown spot of melasma on my forehead, and then I've got little age spots that were starting to come up. And my little sister finally says to me one day, "Girl, what are you doing with your skin? Because this is not okay. You need to figure out how to fix this." A lot of times melasma is caused by estrogen dominance. We're familiar with the brown spots happening to women when they're pregnant. And it's interesting that coloration of the skin has something to do with estrogen. However, I kind of think that it happened to me partially because I over-exfoliated when I was younger for years in trying to get rid of my acne before I started making my own products. I was scrubbing the heck out of my forehead with just sea salt, and I mean scrubbing. So I feel really passionate when young women come in and they talk about how often they're exfoliating. Huge caution. Do not exfoliate your face every day. Do not exfoliate any more than once a week. And honestly, I feel like by the time we get over 30, maybe just do it twice a month. But really, your skincare product should be turning your skin cells over at a rate that is fast enough that you don't feel like you need to rip your face off for it to look better, you know. Oh, okay. So yeah, we get a lot of scalp questions. But let me finish the hyperpigmentation issue. So this is a very common issue, and the reason that hyperpigmentation also happens is that the skin deposits extra bits of melanin in places where it's been damaged before, or maybe where you have just continuously gotten too much sun. Melanin is a protective measure. It's great, actually. However, we don't want uneven skin tone. And that's what I have fixed with the Enlightened line of products that I did. And I made that. I made the face wash and the oil and the toner just for myself. I used it for 6 months. It totally cleared up my big brown spot on my forehead. And then my other spots have really diminished. I still have some freckles. I'm still going to have some age spots. I'm sorry, honey, we all are. But we can bring those down, and we can get the skin to digest extra melanin. I am not talking about skin lightening. I am very against that. But I'm just saying that we can get those extra splotches to really diminish or completely go away. I've had some clients that like the spot has just literally fallen off their faces after they used the Enlightened stuff for a few weeks. So in that line, I formulated it such that I did herbs and oils that science has found just cause the skin to digest extra melanin deposits. And it works beautifully. So that's an answer for that. You can totally Google. I went with scientific studies, but I'm sure that you could kind of look up and see what herbs and oils help the skin do that if you want to do your own at home. Amla, ginger. Oh my gosh, my brain's drawn a blank. Are a couple of the herbs that help with that. Amla is also Indian gooseberry. It's a very tart, delicious flavor. And then avocado oil, camellia seed oil. Those are two of the main oils in the Enlightened oil that really help with those age spots and just melanin deposits. So scalp questions are constant. It's very difficult to get that right. I tell people that scalp intimacy is the scariest thing that you'll ever do. Getting off shampoo is pretty, it's a revolution right now, and I'm really excited about it, but there's also not enough support for people in trying to do that. So the Brazen Bee Beauty group is amazing, by the way, with lots of people having that scalp conversation on there, and you can see what other people are doing. But just like with the face feeding, if you will, that night feeding of your scalp with the Penetrate hair repair, or you could literally use any, I go between them all. I've used Chaliha on my scalp if I feel like I'm even having a breakout for some reason. I've used Enlightened oil. I love Penetrate. Penetrate has broccoli seed oil in it, which is the closest thing that we can get in nature to kind of a silicone feel. So the Penetrate is particularly thick and protective. It works great as a heat protectant if you do heat things with your hair. But again, the night feeding of the scalp is where I've seen the most success with my clients with eczema and psoriasis of the scalp, just dry scalp, dandruff, all those things. We all have had those things at some point. I do drops, and I just run the dropper along my scalp, massage it in. I usually wrap my hair at night, which I also highly recommend everybody do if you've got hair that's at your shoulders or below. It also helps protect your hair. I love the satin lined caps. I can't think of the name of the woman that makes them, but I have a few of them and I really love those. So, just doing probably, it depends on the thickness of your hair. If you have really thin hair, one dropper full on your whole scalp may be enough. Me, I have thick hair. My hair's a little bit wiry. I can put a lot on and it's really great. But doing it at night, and then if you need to use shampoo, if you're just not there yet beyond the whole shampoo thing, that's okay. Be gentle with yourself, but you can wash your hair in the morning, either with the brain wash. You can do an apple cider vinegar rinse in the morning and see if that doesn't get just enough oil out for you to get your hair back to bouncy the next day. But yeah, those nighttime scalp feedings too are also kind of the best thing that you could do. So, Yes, so Lisa says she doesn't exfoliate, but she does use my body scrub. My body scrub is totally a great exfoliant, but I powder all of the ingredients because I don't ever want you to over exfoliate, which makes the body scrubs also totally face safe because they're very gentle. So yeah. All right, cystic acne. So this is, I'm gonna need to have a sip of wine while we have this conversation. Acne is where I started the whole company out from. I still had acne at 30 and I was eating perfectly. And I mean, truly perfectly. I don't mean perfectly anymore because I use my products. But unfortunately, my own skincare products make me really lazy. So cystic acne is really definitely a different animal. And it took me it took me a good 3 years of being in business and helping people with cystic acne before I even figured out how exactly the best ways were to treat that. I saw a lot of those beginning detoxes with my face wash, with my original face wash that I don't actually even sell anymore because I grew up and I realized that one was too harsh. Sabrina. So Sabrina was around when I very first started the company, and we did used to dance in the kitchen while we made products. Now we dance in the kitchen at work. So yeah, cystic acne, you know, I have a million clients who are also eating really well. And it doesn't seem to change it. Although for other clients, it does really change it. I will say that as far as food issues go, from what I've seen, limiting or taking out, I know this is hard, dairy can be one of the main components. However, I treat a lot of people that don't change their diet, and I do it successfully. So I do think that cystic acne in particular craves a lot of nutrition and an extreme amount of gentleness. When you go to the dermatologist for cystic acne, they do a lot of really harsh treatments, and they are usually only about killing all the bacteria, which totally upsets the skin in the long run. We know that acne and eczema and psoriasis, there is a bacterial component there, but it's not usually so much that the bad guys are in control. It's that there's not enough of the good guys. And we're really learning so much about topical probiotics, basically, and how important they are. There's some really cool studies with squid right now that are amazing if you want to Google that. But yeah, so, you know, cystic acne requires gentleness. I use my Georgia Sweet formula for that, and then a slew of herbs that really help the skin heal faster. And I think personally, the usage of those herbs on the skin seems to help with the probiotic issue. I can't say that because we haven't done studies on it, but the way that I see healing occur, I think once we stop using the soap, never soap with cystic acne. Once we stop doing all of the like kill, like, you know, machine guns do not need to be used in the case of actually healing the body. All of the antibiotics and stuff, you know, can help for a little while for some people, but I get people after things have gone awry and it's not pretty, and usually they're in tears. So the Georgia Sweet with things like comfrey, barley grass, calendula flowers, corn flowers, cucumber, lots of soothing agents, and then the comfrey comes in and the calendula comes in to help us make better collagen so that if you do have a breakout, it heals very quickly. And that's one of the best things that I see within 3 to 4 days after my cystic acne clients come to me, is that sometimes they say, well, it's only been 3 days and I am still breaking out, but my God, it's healing so fast. I'm used to one spot, especially a cystic acne spot, staying around for a week or two. And I've gotten that heal time down dramatically. So that's the first thing we see. And then we start to see the lessening of the breakouts over time. The Enlightened oil, which obviously I formulated specifically for age spots and melasma, for whatever reason, that magical formula has been one of the best for my cystic acne clients. We used to do stiletto moisturizer, and I still recommend stiletto with the Enlightened oil, because I still like to see you using something that's a little bit thicker. But the Enlightened oil has been a godsend, a goddessend to my cystic acne clients, and I think that has a lot to do with the Tamanu oil that's in it, and the really high variants of different types of vitamin E. There are 5 kinds of vitamin E that your skin requires to function healthily. There's not one. You're not going to get it out of a capsule and break it open and put it on your skin. That's unnatural vitamin E made in a lab. You need vitamin E that's coming from plants, and there's not just one form of vitamin E. There are 5. Now, there's a main one, and then the rest you need a lot less of, but it's just like eating a varied diet. I tell people this all the time when it comes to using oils on your skin. There is no one perfect oil. There is no one perfect food for you to eat. You can't live on broccoli the rest of your life. You can't live on sweet potatoes the rest of your life. You need a varied diet internally and externally. And watching healing happen over the last 8 years, I've really sort of, that's one of my most adamant ideas, is that you've got to have a varied diet for your skin. And it is good to switch it up. It is good to go from one moisturizer to another occasionally and see if you don't need a bump of something else. So yeah. Okay, another question about hair care, and that's great. So the transition from shampooing into brainwash can be really complicated, and it can be very easy for some people. Personally, I kind of stopped washing my hair over the course of at least a year before I realized that I didn't need to do it anymore ever at all. I suggest that you just push your washings out a little further. Using shampoo, just put some more time in between every time you do wash. So you might be an everyday shampooer, and then you eventually get to every other day. And if you can just push that 24 hours out up to that 48 hours, great. And then you can go another day, and then you can go another day. The issue, I know that's so hard with not shampooing is like the drowned rat look. It's the greasy hair. And none of us, this is our main, none of us want to go outside and look terrible. And hair is very important. So, doing it slowly, I think, is the least traumatic way to do it. There are lots of clients who have gone cold turkey, and they are that kind of person. I'm that kind of person in life, but I also recognize that I don't want you to wake up in the morning and get teary-eyed that you feel like you've messed up again, or feel bad when you do need to use some shampoo to get yourself back to a place that you feel is presentable. So just push those washings out. Throw your brainwash daily in between those washings. And see if that doesn't work. And if that holds you over for another few hours, or if that holds you over for another day, then you're doing a really good job. You're going to get to the point where you're washing your hair once a week, and then you're washing your hair every 2 weeks. And then one day, you're never going to wash your hair again with shampoo. I will say now that if I am in a weird situation and I do have to shampoo my hair, or when I dye my hair, like once every 6 months, I use a little shampoo on it, and it makes huge flakes. I mean, I get flakes that big coming off of my scalp, and I know so hardcore, and I use a really natural shampoo. I use Shikai when I do have to use it, but my God, it still messes up my whole scalp biome, I swear. So coming back from that's always a little bit hard, but it's good to see after you haven't shampooed and you go back to it, how much it actually is messing your scalp up. And I think a lot of times we don't realize what products are doing to us until we get off them for a little while, So yeah. Hi Juanita, hi Teresa, hi Sabrina, hi Lisa, Annalisa, and Dawn, and Christy and Julian and Audrey and all of you. Does anybody else have any more questions? How long have we been doing this for? I can't tell. I don't know how long this is, but that's okay. I think I'm going to try and do this once a week from now on. I'm really going to try really hard. So, if you guys want to come up with some more questions for next week, that would be great. I would really love for them to be asked live, if that's possible. I know a lot of you are at work. I think I'm going to try and do this on Sunday afternoon next week so that we can get some more people involved. But yeah, I love what I do. I love helping you guys. I love so much that there's a lot of trust placed in me, and that I get to be a part of so much healing. It's really an amazing journey that I've been on. And again, all of this started in my kitchen with a lot of knowledge and not a lot of know-how yet. You know, I've been reading herbal books from front to back since I was 19. So I have a lot of stuff rolling around in this head all the time, and it gets hard to put it out there sometimes. But may I be a wonderful example that you can do what you love, and as long as you are doing it out of love and a sense of responsibility for the earth, then you should be really good and you should be able to do anything that you want to do. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next week. Keep on the page for some updates. Oh, and I'm about to put several body scrubs on sale because I made a lot this week and there's maybe too much. So keep a lookout for that. If you have any questions for family members before you order for Christmas and stuff like that, messaging me off the Facebook page is the best way to get a hold of me. And yeah, we're shipping 40 orders out tomorrow and then another 40 the day after that. So we'll be all caught up again. I love you guys. Mwah. Thank you so much. And also, Josh isn't in here right now, but thank you for my cameraman who set up my bathroom background to be very pretty so that this wasn't too weird. So, all right. Love you guys so much. Keep the questions coming, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye. Hugs to you.